Picking up where we left off. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Picking up where we left off. Welcome, everybody. Echoing. Huh? Wow, we've got some wonderful Christmas ambience here for everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, there. I don't know about that song, but wow. Welcome. This is a little bit better. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Opened some gifts with my 7-month-old boy this morning, about 5 a.m., 5:30. And we're going to be doing some Ilmenite giveaways, too. And many giveaways because it is Christmas. And we're going to continue going through this list because I want to answer your guys' questions. I know there's some concerns, but overall, very happy with the status of this update. Very happy with what we accomplished. So, just really excited to hear from you guys. And we'll start off with a big fat Ilmenite giveaway. There we go. Here we are. So last we left off, we talked about the rating system, the stockpile changes, the bread system. So if you didn't catch me talking about that stuff, please catch my last stream. It's named the same one as this stream. We're also probably going to break these up into videos that are kind of like tutorials that explain this stuff to people. Which I'm personally very excited about. Now you guys can see me better. All right. So today we have the region battle changes. So one thing is we fixed the amount of spam in the Discord Garrison updates channel. So you know, like every minute it'll be like, Garrett, the Discord thing it started and stuff, you know. We've reduced that greatly. So that's very good. Hold on one second, I just want to make sure. Okay. Back to the screen. All right. So, road battles now. Only during weekends. Okay, so why did we do that? One, let's just go through it. First battle, Saturday. Second battle, Saturday. Third battle, Sunday. So what we did is we basically made an evaluation based on the most common time zones for our players, which is Europe and US. As well as Oceania/Asia. So the first battle This isn't a good time for Europe and the US and the Middle East, which is the vast majority of our audience. Second battle is actually at a time that's not quite as good for Europe and Americans, but it's very good for Oceania and Asia. And then the third battle, once again, is at a good time for Europe, Europe, US, and Middle East. So one of the reasons with these weekend-only road battles is back in the day when we do them, people could prepare for them throughout the week. They got a lot more members, and they were a lot less grindy and a lot more exciting. This also allows you to kind of prepare throughout the week with bread and so many other things, which is just a lot more useful. You can see here now the battles are in days instead of hours. Now, this is a really important note, which I think most people need to understand, is that for most people, the weekends are going to be more accessible than the weekdays. Now, we are considering, if this doesn't work well for whatever reason, we're considering maybe having a Friday battle instead of one of these three, or a Wednesday battle. But the most important thing is just having some access to the most amount of players as possible, and kind of getting away from the grindy every 12 hours fight, every 12 hours fight, every 12 hours fight, and you feel like you have to go because it's so consequential. So we feel like this will make wars a lot less grindy and less punishing. So let's keep going. Bread is now required to respawn or teleport to a garrison. So this is something a lot of people are confused about. Bread in the stockpile will allow teleports, but teleports will not consume bread. You just need one bread in a garrison to teleport. Bread in the stockpile will be consumed if that garrison is used as a respawn point, which, if it's the closest possible garrison, essentially it'll be used as a respawn point, and automatically consume the stockpile's bread. If none of the stockpiles have bread for your faction, you can consume your inventory bread instead. And if you have no bread in your inventory, you'll be kicked, regardless how many lives you have. So you have a max of 30 lives now, instead of 15, which I'm not sure if it actually made it into this. It should be. So instead of 15 lives max, you have 30, but the lives are consumed when you take bread, basically, when you have bread. Which basically just means that people have to have strategy and preparation going into a region battle. Yes, you can drain in region battles, and actually, because of bread supplies, the battles will become more and more consequential as the weekend goes on, and as the bread supplies get lower. So you feel like your efforts in battle are actually really affecting and having an impact, rather than the inverse of it just being like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. On top of this, with bread respawning every week, resetting, basically people can't hoard bread, which helps a lot. Garrisons don't produce bread, just so you know. Only bases do. So next going on, if you're teleported for lives running out, you'll now receive an alert. Removed cartography quest requirements to discover a garrison or territory on the map. This is a pretty massive change because essentially cartography quests were very much hated and complained about. So we replaced them with more of like an Assassin's Creed style system called exploration points, which means you just have to climb to the top of a building and it'll explore that entire territory for you. So each garrison has its own exploration point, and as soon as you discover it, you discover the map. So no more cartography quests. And now you don't need the cartography quest to teleport to these garrisons either. Would have been better if we had everything discovered from before. Yeah, I understand. We probably should have preserved that data, so I do apologize about that. New connections have been added via a Persian route to northern, central, and southern Levants. So this Persian route basically allows people who could never have participated before in battles with one another and in different areas of the map now can. So it's kind of like a seaport. And so I actually have an image of this. And it's a little bit out of date, but essentially you guys can see here that now there's a Persia portal that allows you to attack from this point to this point, and then it's actually this point here. It's been moved. We initially thought about doing it here, but HRE already had a seaport, so we decided to give it to Templars instead, based on evaluations. So now the Templars and the Assassins could go to war, for example. There's also a bunch of new Northern Levant changes, some territory. So this is kind of funny. This is an accident from the patch notes, so ignore that in the blue. These 4 garrisons were added to the Northern Levant, which is going to help it be a lot less stalemate-y, a lot less distance between those garrisons. When a road battle starts, everybody in the faction or rebellions will be put into an instance party, which is kind of nice because basically you get to sort through and see who's actually on your team, because some people don't wear the outfits and it gets very confusing. So it's going to be very obvious who's in your faction. So that's very nice. Battlefield Wilderness changes. But before we continue, are there any questions or comments on the new region battle schedule? Myth, the instant parties block mobile movement. Okay, I will write that down as a bug. Thank you. So that will be fixed. The new region battle thing makes war go for too long. That's an interesting comment. I'm not sure what that's based on, since it hasn't been tried yet. Why at the time when people want our road battles, and how can this help the game? It's a great question. There's a few reasons I wrote down of why this can help the game. So I'll read these out. It gives people time to prep for battles. Battles are left less often, which means they'll be meaningful, even more meaningful, larger, and will continue to address performance issues. Gives people a true break from the nonstop consequential conquest, allows them to reset, retool, and get excited and prep during the week. And introduces actual strategy, tactics, and preparation with resources. So things being based on resources. Shad, if you want to just chill a bit, we will get to those bugs and tickets. It is Christmas, so I think we can accept that the team's a little less responsive today. So just be a little bit more patient. Sodi, I don't think you have to be on 24/7 because of the raids. I think the raids are pretty low consequence. And if you get pinged by one, you could come. And that's about it. But honestly, guys, a lot of these systems are to encourage people to get on and be in their capital. And guess what? We're going to go through a bunch of the stuff you can do at your capital, but you can do a ton of stuff at your capital, even AFK mining, AFK combat, waiting for recruits. So there's a ton of things to do. I'd maybe switch the first and third times for road battles, since a lot of players use Sundays to finish homework. I mean, I understand that. This isn't just for people in school, it's also for adults, and the weekend's just generally better. And so the nice thing about this is that you can put these in your calendar recurring, and you know these are at these times. So if you know it's at that time, okay, you can do your homework at a different time. Let's keep going. Merry Christmas, Shad. As far as the bread generation for SCA, I think you guys should realize that we got rid of Chronicle territory. So if you only have one base and no side bases, you can go conquer another side base and declare it as yours, and you have that bread generation. There's really nothing stopping you from doing that, except for diplomacy and your own measures. Now, we are adding more bases. HRE is going to be getting a new side base very soon. And I also want to add one for IU bids in the future. But if you don't have a side base, go take one. And you'll be able to generate more bread. You're also able to farm bread, which allows you to get more and raid bread. So if you want somebody else's bread, go raid it. I don't know if Catania is getting added anytime soon, now that Sicily also has Malta. The Lord has come. Now, battlefield and wilderness changes. We disabled the compass, so it's a lot easier to see stuff. And you're also put into those instance parties. Why no potions in raids? You can use potions in raids. Why? That's only for other things. Okay, so we buffed the siege cooldowns to go along with new RB times. Which is something that I think is going to really help a lot. Sorry, with the lyrics, it's hard to concentrate with the lyrics. So failed siege cooldowns from 4 hours to 24. Successful cooldown is from 16 hours to 72. Contribution goes up to 75. And then bread is required to respawn. So attackers have to bring their bread. Defenders can use the stockpile bread. Fixed Ascalon siege. New lives counter in the top left for visibility. Same with allies when the enemies remaining has been moved up. Siege lives have been buffed to 15 for attackers and defenders, and 20 for defenders of capitals. So this is still dependent on bread. Siege maps now have a functional stockpile for the bread. Fixed issue where siege flags wouldn't move or show up. So just a couple bug fixes here. But this is big news for a lot of people because this is a lot of the main parts of the game here. Okay, next. Ooh, look, guys. Cyprus. Capitals now give 5 contribution for grouping and patrolling with other members instead of 3. These are a lot of really big, awesome changes, guys. Added a patrol master at every capital. Gives a daily repeatable quest to patrol the base at certain locations. Gives 25 contribution as a reward. So these are a great thing to do daily at your capitals. Region teleport cart has been included to all capitals, so you don't have to go to longer to go to Jerusalem. NBC bandit quests and camps. A faction warden to each capital near the spawn, which gives people contribution for the bandit quests. Gave Tyre music because it was missing sound playlists. Cairo is now in Infernum Zone as part of the faction Kickstarter campaign. That'll be reverted in like a day because it was only supposed to be for 3 days. Thessaloniki's been moved. Cairo and Jaffa. Oh, this is another patch note that this has been fixed. This didn't mean to go in. Deleted seats in Jaffa round table. Flags added to each base and can be teleported to in conquest servers, which is a really nice change people have been asking for a while. If you have a question, actually just at me. It's the easiest way for me to see it in the chat. It highlights it in gold. Silver markets have been given a billboard. Jerusalem personal storage has been moved to all the capitals as well. AFK and XP and mining spots have been moved to the capitals, so you can stay there. Balto has been converted to a Sicilian side base. Farms have been added to every base and capital to mine for more bread, or harvest more bread. Capitals now have quick match pads. They don't work right now, but they'll be implemented very soon. Daily bandit camp quests have been added. Matchmaking quests, and stewards for the stockpiles. And then one of my favorite changes, which is the KDR leaderboard I showed you guys yesterday, which shows you who has the most kills in a battle and all those different things. Team player kills are counted as deaths as well. So this is like not just about getting the most kills, it's also about being the most effective for faction. Yeah, Winter Waffle. Take a side base or do diplomacy. I think it's not a tone deaf answer because essentially what I'm asking is for factions to essentially raid and harvest to get bread. And I get that it is a little intrinsically unfair that some factions like the Teutonics have access to more side bases closer to them. And I think that more solutions to that should be added, and we should be continuing to add more bases as we have been. I mean, we just added, I think, 2 or 3 new bases for this update. We're going to continue to do that. Ideally, each faction has at least 1 base and 1 side base that's easily accessible. I also think the Jerusalem changes are a lot better for KOJ because people won't have to conquer KOJ to get through, in my opinion at least. Winter, it's just like I get that the point is that like Montreal, for example, does not belong to Templars in the code. It's not its first owner is set to Templars, but there's nothing that punishes Templars for not holding Montreal other than strategic value. So if SCA wants to generate more bread, they should use their massive army to conquer some side bases to generate more. And they can easily do raids and harvesting throughout the week to have enough bread to do that. And it doesn't matter. Bread doesn't get rid of a massive numbers advantage. Bread just gives an advantage to factions that actually prepare and work hard. Well, Winter, if your faction didn't boycott playing the game, then they could be raiding and harvesting and having bread for the next battle. But because they've decided not to do that, they're really only harming themselves, unfortunately. But I do feel bad for the players that are being sabotaged by bad leadership. But again, that's just something that they're choosing. So, as far as ambient zone changes, we'll keep going. Exertatio zones now award XP for team kills. So if you're in your base and you still want to earn XP with trainings, you can with these specific Exertatio zones, which are green. Coast Ambient Zone, which I think sounds really nice. Changes. Okay, so what are these level scaling zones? So level scaling is basically in two places. It's in matchmaking champions matches, and two, it's in base arenas. Okay, so what does this mean? When you're in those zones, you can't use tonics. Projectiles do a maximum of 10 damage now. This has been changed from 40 to 10. Armor is not calculated against damage. Passive skill effects are disabled, so skill trees don't work. The existing change that nerfs damage based on levels to equalize damages between weapons and XP levels is there. And level scaling nerfs block defense at the same rate as damage. We also re-added oceans and seas to the Levant, so the maps look way better. We removed those for a while because of performance concerns, which were fixed. And these all have the coast ambient zone around them. And the ambient zone top bar now tells you what zone we're in. Okay, now I'm going to showcase something really important, guys, we talked about yesterday. If you go to the top of the list, you'll see this Roblox stuff, which is really important. So I'm going to show you how you can earn free gold and contribution. Basically, when you see this annoying pop-up that you guys probably have clicked no to every time, click yes. And just spam invite to all your friends. All they have to do is come play and you get free gold. If they join your faction, you get contribution. If they're playing the game for the first time, you get a ton of gold. So if they're a new player, you get like 400 gold. If they're an existing player, you get 5 gold. And if they join your faction, you get, I think, hundreds of contribution. Like a lot. 700 contribution if they're a new player that joins your faction. So just by spamming this, and this UI has trouble loading sometimes, but it doesn't matter. Just spam it. Spam it, spam it, spam it, spam it. Send it to everybody. And then when they join, you'll be getting a pop-up that gives you the rewards. Yes, you're spamming friends, and what this does is when you do this, it helps us get on the Roblox algorithm so much easier. So then Roblox starts to promote us way more. So hit yes. And then go forward. Yeah, Shad, the issue with the tonic zones being in raids is being fixed. So just keep an eye on that. That will be fixed. And then I wanted to show some of the ambient zone changes, which will not be at Karak because it's in the desert. Soundtrack issue. What is the soundtrack issue? Interesting. Looks like there's some errors with Roblox there. Yeah, Test, I'm glad you confirmed that because I was thinking that was happening. We'll fix the sound playlist ASAP. Yusuf, I'm not in charge of judiciary, but I would just talk to them to appeal your ban. Okay, this is like one of the most exciting things. The region of Cyprus has been added, which is awesome. I know many of us are just super stoked on that. Roblox is being the epic. So new maps, descriptions, new bases. Limassol and Pathos, genuinely Limassol, but especially Pathos, one of my favorite maps in the game right now. Just walking around it is just so fun. It's just so immersive and engaging of a map. It's really well done. So I really recommend checking those bases out if you haven't, or raiding them. Nicosia has been removed from Central and put into Cyprus, and Cyprus now has 2 seaports. The NPCs are still not fully integrated with these seaports, but you can still use the caravan masters to attack them. And there's so many more patch notes to go. Let's stop, though, for a second. I want to hear what your favorite note so far of what we reviewed is. Please tell me in the chat. And then we're going to do a halfway giveaway, because I really do want to hear what you guys think and what you guys think is the best update so far on this list. Cyprus not producing garrisons. I will fix that. Or not producing resources. Indicators showing your teams and RBs. Pathos. These are some good answers. Horns of Fatin being the only soundtrack. Nice. Oh, you like the region battle time zones. Perfect. It was too time zoney. That's funny. Tonic changes. Great. Got it. So some tonic issues. We'll make sure to get these issues fixed. I mean, my favorite thing so far is raids. I've had so much fun with them. But there's a lot of stuff. And we're going to go ahead and pick the winner. And the winner is the Arab Sniper. Ooh, congratulations, Sniper. We'll be starting another Ilmenite giveaway. Sniper, make sure to message me. Second Ilmenite giveaway starting, and we're going to continue with one of the best updates to the game. Which I actually... Screw it, let's showcase this update. So you guys can see, I know there's been a lot of questions about the onboarding. And so I'm going to showcase it and show you guys exactly how it works. I'm going to make a new account. Okay, one of the cool updates, weather. Wind will now blow and affect particles like fires and maps. It'll occasionally rain, and location will affect the frequency, and other weather events like snow, sandstorms, and play. What is this catch stuff? Oh my gosh, this is insane. I'm doing this. Look at this, guys. Look at this Look at this, like, human ID requirement. I can't even... These are so hard. Like, what do you want? That looks like the hippo. Where's the fish? There's the fish. It's like I'm just trying to make a freaking account, man. Please tell me. Okay. Jeez. Holy cow. All right. Search up Lionhearts, the best experience on Roblox. We're going to click play. So weather, and then we're going to talk about this new onboarding. Rename Battle of Hatine to Tutorial Battle. Opponents are now bandits. You don't get the cast sword anymore. Weapons and health downgraded. And they're going to be, people are going to be prompted to choose a faction with a really cool faction chooser menu that I worked really hard on, getting custom data from all the factions, which will then teleport you to that faction's capital. So there's also been some confusion about this update as well. So let's check out what happens here. So no cinematic, none of that anymore. And it starts with the Abbasids. So the way that this sorts right now, it's based on the amount of people that are in your capital at the time. So people thought that maybe we would have it be excluding vassals. It doesn't exclude vassals. It excludes factions that don't own their capital at that moment. So you can see each different custom selection screen. See, the Zangids are on here. The Seljuks are on here. And one of the nice things, too, is it actually shows you and gives you the skins. So each faction also chose which weapons they want their new players to start with. So it'll custom give them their skins, all that. So this actually really just takes away the burden off of recruiting in a place like Jerusalem. And I just think this is just a really, really solid change. You can see I got the Templar shield and sword. I can stab myself. It shows what the faction's boon is. And we'll go through those boons later. Here's the HRE one, which is really cool. Cyprus one. So right now, this is just sorting based on how many people are actually in these capitals right now. If there's a lot of people in the capital, you know, it'll show it first. If there's not that many, it'll show it last. And if there's nobody online in your capital at the moment, your faction's not listed. So it rewards factions that are actively in your capital right now, okay? And that's because we want to send players to a place where other players are. We don't want players joining a faction and then going to the capital and nobody's there, because guess what those new players are going to do? They're going to leave. And yeah, it starts you off with the LR uniform because this is going to be your outfit, right? So we don't want to deceive players into thinking they're going to be getting into something they won't. Bigger factions get bigger, small factions get smaller. I don't really think so. I think it just rewards people who put effort in to be at their bases. And there's times when big factions won't be at their bases and small factions will. But as long as you're at your base, you still get a really good chance to have a new recruit come in. Now, why did we do it this way? One, new players will leave if there's not new other players around. Roblox is a social game. It relies on social interactions. If you don't have social interactions, you leave. So just think about it from the new player perspective. Also, when you recruit your friends with that little pop-up, really helps. So what faction do we want to join here? And you can see some of the factions haven't been listed here because there's nobody on in their base. Right? But look how nice these look, guys. Which one is your favorite? I think, personally, my favorite is the Cypress one. I just really love the Christian tones. I love the flexing pathos, man. And the new Cypriot skins are just really nice. So I'm going to join the Cypriots. And guys, all I have to do, press join. And guess what? I keep my skin equipped, and I stay in my outfit, and I'm in Cyprus. That's it. So you don't have to teach people how to join via the menu. You don't have to choose via an NPC. That's it. And then they go right into the combat tutorial. Cypress have increased swing speed when they're in a coast zone. So if you hear the seagulls chirping, and if you go into the top left thing, I'll show you guys. Ooh, I didn't know that happened here. Weapon disappearing bug. Gotta write that down. So if you go to the top left, it tells you which ambient zones you're in. And so if it says coast and you're Cyprus, you'll get the boon. And then boom, as soon as he's dead, it's going to teleport me right to Pathos, guys. It's not going to mess around. It's not going to go anywhere else. It's going to go right to Pathos into the Conquest server. And because we made it much easier to get into Conquest servers automatically, essentially, if you just wait by your spawn in your Conquest server, that's it. And you can already see I'm in Pathos. Got these level up prompts. And the first thing I'm probably going to do is come talk to these patrol guards. So it tells me to do my daily sparring. You can see it's on the right here. Press G, click on the crossing sword options, and I can do that. And these Cypriots are... I'm going to showcase the patrolling quest, too, that you guys can all do every day. So I'm going to follow this guy right here and do my patrolling quest. First thing, it just tells me to go to various checkpoints. So the nice thing about this is not only just ceremonial, but now with raids, you're actually patrolling and you might get raided at any point. It makes patrolling actually mean something. Because basically patrolling means nothing when there's no actual threat. So I did the first checkpoint. There's checkpoint 2 up there. So I'm going to go up. So they made these doors. That's funny. I'll have to... So that's a level design bug. But luckily, I'm an assassin. I do not need ladders. Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, I turned on the...
This is gonna be a really tough one. Ah! Ah! Oh shit! I can't believe I made that jump. Holy cow. Okay, I think I can do this. Oh man. Oh, that sucks. All right, we'll use these instead. That was almost like way too cool. I'm an LR. I have to pretend I'm bad. It's gonna be really hard because I'm so good. Ah! Oh yeah, let's listen to the frickin' Cypriot music. New Cyprus music. I mean, new Pathos music. I'm really getting trained up. Oh man. This is not happening for me. Alright. The assassin's gonna be ashamed. I can't take the stairs now because I told Lettuce I didn't need him. No, the music is just a collection of stuff that was already available on Roblox. But I'd love to get Cypher out to make some more music soon. Boom! Oh, no. Okay, I did it. I did it. Alright, where's the patrol point? Alright, there's the next patrol point. So you could be patrolling these walls and keep an eye out for actual raiders, because people might raid at any point. And there you can see the new farm. Oh, the SBA are coming? Oh no. Let's close down these gates. That's it. So we did the patrol. And now we're gonna go collect our reward from the patrol master. What's nice too is you can now just use these teleports. Oh no. Oh my gosh, guys, look how many people joined. See, most days nobody would actually be at their base like this, but because of, well, obviously I'm streaming, but also because of the threat of raids, like one that's going to happen right now, people just actually want to patrol. So here we go. Got my contribution just from doing those patrols. And now we're gonna stop these mongrels from taking Pathos. Dude, how does it feel to get parried with Arsenical, dude? Oh, man. Parried with an Arsenical weapon. Alright, so now, you guys, I'm going to explain the raids again. Once E point is taken, the raid will officially begin. And it'll ping. So keep an eye out on the Discord. You're going to see in just a second. It's going to ping right now. Yep. And there's the ping. A red braid is started to loot Pathos. And we're going to stop these steel-banded lunatics. So the people boycotting, not only are they missing out on the fun, they're also missing out on fun for their players. Look at this. There's archers on the walls. And basically, to win for us, all we have to do is recapture that flag. I'm going to get my first kill here. No, I'm not. Oh, and there's looting enabled too, guys, which is pretty cool because most battles you don't get the chance to loot. Top bar is disabled. This is actually like just a lot of fun. And like just having these custom interactions. Oh no. Tried to block with a arsenical greatsword. So look at, like, this is, so why is this nice? Like, why is this cool? Very specific reason, because this is a surprise, right? So, and now I'm going to go Unk status. Back in the day when we started TTC, raids were surprises. You would patrol your base a lot because you were worried somebody would raid. And I get that there's an element of that with battles, but they already own your stronghold. You have a good idea they're going to siege you. Or the battle's at a designated time. It's just not the same. But if you patrol your base, you have that awesome, exciting feeling like, oh, raiders could show up. And I'm also getting contribution. I'm gaining things by patrolling. I'm hanging out with my fellow faction members. I'm harvesting bread. I'm preparing for the next battle. And things like that just really make things a lot more rewarding. And if you're not on, you still get pinged in the Discord, so you know it's about to happen, right? But the Raiders only have 30 minutes, so that's it. The storyline's not gone. You can still do it at Malta. I find it hard to believe that somebody wouldn't find this fun. I personally find this, like, actually a lot of fun. And I'm even a new player, but, like, and I'm participating in this PvP, but it doesn't feel too punishing. Because, honestly, like, I'm having fun with allies, and it's not that consequential. Like, worst case, we lose some bread. And I wish we had the leaderboard here, because it would make it a lot more exciting. But the top bar is just not working here for whatever reason. I mean, people have been... You say that, Serhat, like you say, oh, you have to farm now in a Crusade game, but people have been begging for other things to do in this game for years. They've been begging for farming and fishing, because the combat alone can just get a little bit wearisome. So you can say that, but it's really just not a good argument. Wind Siege Machines. Honestly, Rune and Paint, I'm pretty sure they're going to start on those very soon. It's something I'm, like, super excited about. And I'm going to help them any way I can to get those done. Oh! I mean, guys, this is just, like, casual fighting. It's not, like... I don't feel like anybody here is, like, sweating over this and, like, super stressed. Like, you just get to fight and have fun. I mean, a lot of the times I just, like, want to play this game, and the only thing there's been to do is just fight in the Jerusalem arena. Like, fighting in the Jerusalem arena is fun, but, like, shouldn't there be other things to do in the game? And this is way more fun than fighting in the Jerusalem arena because it's a real battle. It's like real PvP. It's real team fighting. And we're going to go through the matchmaking changes too. But essentially, this is just a lot better. It's a lot more rewarding. Look out, Omar! I just saved Omar. And this is just, like, guys, I'm sorry, but this is good. Like, this is a good system. I haven't really heard anybody that's participated in these raids who said they weren't fun. Now, the boycotting players and faction leaders have said it's not good, but they haven't even tried it. So you're robbing your players of actually having fun and having dynamic changes in the game for the first time in years that fundamentally change the way you play the game. Now, instead of the loop being, oh, I'm going to wait 12 hours until a battle or my faction goes to war, if I want to play, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. It doesn't matter if it's a battle time. If it's a good time for me because I got off of work or I'm done with school and I want to come patrol my base or launch a raid, I can do that any time of day. And then on the weekends, I can schedule out when the road battle times are going to be, as I'm about to get fucking clobbered. I can put them into my calendar. Like, imagine actually putting something in your calendar, knowing it's going to be at that time consistently. So if you really want to be there, that you schedule your life around it. This is normal. That's just like such a better change. Hey guys, we're gonna go through the rest of the patch notes, and honestly, I would do it now, but I'm having I'm having so much fun. I don't really want to. We've been putting a lot of work in, a lot of very late nights from the whole team and I, getting this update ready, and honestly, just being able to play it and enjoy it, it really just means a lot, guys. It really does. This is just... I've dreamed about bringing these kind of moments together for years, and actually being able to, play with your friends and just have a good time, and do it when you can. I have a job, and I have things I need to do, and I can't just always, get on at the time that's most convenient. For the road battle changes, so. I think the reason people complained is they didn't understand the changes, or because some people that honestly I don't think had the best intentions heard about some of the changes early, before they were balanced, decided they were really bad before they even gave them a try. And then the minute the patch notes were released, they catastrophized them, they looked for the worst parts of them, they made up things about them that weren't true, that if you read them, it's obvious it's not true. People were spreading around the idea that you had to consume bread to teleport, and that's not true. You just need one bread in a stockpile garrison, and you can teleport there infinitely. But people were saying, no, you need you need infinite, you need 1,000,000 bread to just even teleport. Just making stuff up. And yeah, it is changeophobia, and this has always kind of happened because people care a lot about this game. And I think it's actually a good thing. When people are upset or concerned, it means people care. It means people like the game. It means people love the game. And I like that. I like the fact that people are upset. I like the fact that people care. I mean, I don't want them to be angry. I don't want them not to like my changes. But imagine a world where you have a game where you make changes and nobody even cares because they're not playing. And I'm not afraid of making changes that are going to stir up a beehive, because I started this game so I could make something unique and original. I didn't start this game so I could please everybody. Like, somebody just messaged me, hey, I tried to recruit this guy, and he said he didn't like the game the first 5 minutes. It's like, okay, well, he's not a TTC player then. He doesn't have what it takes. He's not our demographic. He can go play Animal Crossing. He can go play Adopt Me if he doesn't want to play a game like this, and that's fine. Those games are good. But if you want to play a hardcore PvP faction game with resource competition and stuff, then this is the game for you. Great comment from Sweet 12. I'm really happy you said this. I don't like the fact that there's not a hub anymore. Yeah, Sweet, I get it, because Jerusalem has been the focal point of this game for a long time. And the issue is that it's like a globalist mentality, right? Like, everybody's so concerned about their hub. I mean, so concerned about Jerusalem and being there in the arena and stuff, they forget about their own factions' bases. This game is so much bigger than Jerusalem, but people would just only care about being in Jerusalem. And now people can be concerned about being in their bases, right? About patrolling their bases, about hanging out with their factions, creating micro communities within the greater community, which honestly is what built this game originally. I mean, the Templars and I didn't hang out as buddies in each other's bases or in a hub back in the day, but our factions were way more active and consistent back then because we actually rallied with each other as a faction. Not across factions, but within factions. And you could still go to Jerusalem and hang out there, but all the features of the hub Jerusalem have been moved. The AFK training, the training arenas where you can get experience, everything's been put into the capitals, as well as the recruits. So instead of recruits going to Jerusalem and just being ignored, like, how many times have I gone to Jerusalem? I see pilgrims there that went through a whole tutorial that just want somebody to engage with them, and nobody does, and they just leave them. And instead, now we have pilgrims that just spawn in your capital, already in your uniform, already invested in your faction, that want to participate with your faction, that love your faction, that chose it among a list. And because of the way the faction chooser works, when you click on that faction, you know people are going to be at that base. You're not going into an empty base or a place where you'll be ignored. You're going to see somebody in your faction's outfit. And the idea that the game's not big enough for that, Sweet, the game's not big enough because of these previous systems. The game's not big enough because of bad onboarding, because of trying to force everybody into a central hub when the game's about factions. And we had way too many MMO mechanics that didn't actually encourage factions to be factions. And this update was all about giving factions power, putting factions at the center of the game. I mean, even this, guys, the new world ranks and champions page, this is about your faction. Okay, this is all about faction competition. It's all about factions doing different things. And it's not about individuals anymore. It's not about how many quests can I do. It's about how can I help my faction. And not just in a war, but with resources, with everything. Ah! And by the way, guys, we tried putting new recruits into Jerusalem and Messina right from the beginning, and it didn't work. It didn't work. We tried it many times. And the reason it didn't work is because the pilgrims got ignored. You have 16 embassies. They expect to talk to 16 NPCs. No, I mean, the choosing menu I just showed you guys, and if you're just joining us on the stream now, go back. Look at all those awesome different custom factions you get to choose from. It's 10 times more dynamic and exciting than trying to teach somebody how to navigate this menu, which is super complicated because it has to be, because factions are super complicated. Is that bug still happening where you can't open the choosing menu? Or maybe I just didn't give it enough time. And by the way, sweet, like, we're still going to be holding faction-wide events at Jerusalem, and they're actually going to be a lot more impactful than, rather than, like, Jerusalem. There's nothing to do at Jerusalem other than fight in the arena. And guess what? The Jerusalem arena is not as fun as PvP and matchmaking, is not as fun as raids, it's not as fun as hanging out with your faction, and so it just hurts the activity of the game overall. So these changes, like, they're generally for the best, and they were thought through. I know Jerusalem Arena is fun. I get it. What I'm saying is that it's not a good substitute for all this other stuff. It's just not. I mean, look at this beautiful base. I mean, do you guys know how much time I've spent, Allie's spent, the level designers have spent making 30-plus custom bases? I mean, that are just awesome and unique and interesting, and they have their own personalities. I mean, look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. And this is mainly because of Luck the Master's hard work. And instead of this being appreciated in the old systems, this would just be empty 99% of the time until eventually there might be a siege. And then it's not even this base, it's a separate spot with a bunch of the stuff taken out of it, and you're only there to fight and defend, but it doesn't actually matter. This gives the bases a lot of personality. It gives the bases, like, just a lot more things to do. Like, I haven't even explored this area. This is fucking awesome. Like, look, this is like the Roman Forum. This is so cool. And, like, this is only one of our 30 bases. But a new player, they get to see this. They get to experience this. And this is fun. I mean, look, he made his own blacksmith. This is awesome. I mean, part of the reason I wanted to make this game is so the builds I spent so much time on actually got appreciated, actually got used. And that just hasn't happened because of a lot of the systems. So although it's hard when you add things that change things fundamentally, and it's difficult, you have to remember that this game was built on faction interaction, not community interaction. And this game thrives when the factions are interacting and hanging out with each other. And that's what I think is so most important. And I get some of the bases are not as good as some of the others, Django. I get that. But this will put more encouragement and more incentives to get them to that level. Yeah, this music is Roblox free music, so they've broken through. So by the way, guys, just as a reminder, these guys do not win when they capture all the flags. They win when they kill the stockpile boss. So as the defenders, we just need to hold out for a few more minutes. It's actually an epic raid, by the way. This is about the coolest raid you could have. They, like, tried to break in for 20 minutes and finally got through, and now it's becoming very interesting. We just need to defend that stockpile boss. So the stockpile boss is in here, and as long as he doesn't die, we win. So we just have to hold out another, like, 10 minutes or so. Look how cool this is, guys. We're making a fucking last stand. This is awesome. And it's a totally different loop than Sieges, because the flags don't actually matter as much as actually, like, having a different objective. And you get to fight with NPCs. There's PvE. So this is just like a system that's 10 times better. Now, if the defenders recapped all the flags, which it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do, we could kick them out earlier. But right now, the defense is trying to buy time. Like, we're just like, if we can just hold out for another 10 minutes, we'll be fine. And it's going to be hard because the stockpile boss has already taken damage. So this is going to be close. And you can see here, we've got 170 bread. So if they win and they have, let's say, 15 attackers, we'll lose 30 bread. So that's a significant amount. It's not enough to be game-breaking, but it will affect us at the next battle. So, like, this isn't just totally pointless. This does have some consequence. And look, I'm getting faction contribution just for standing here. Lettuce's custom is so sick. If you guys want a custom like lettuce, reach out to me. I'm going to let you guys buy some for USD. So just do that. Look at this. The city's taken, but we have this core keep. This is so sick, guys. This is literally like I'm getting nerd chills right now. We have this core keep, and so we can hold out. But they're breaking through. We got to... Luck, it does take some time to load in. I think it could be optimized a little bit better. Oh, fuck. It got through. Fuck, defend that stockpile boss. Oh, shit. Oh, dude, this is so fun. This is so awesome. They just charge through the gates like that. This is so cool. We just gotta hold out another 7 minutes, guys. This update's awesome, and nobody can convince me otherwise. Mabel's having fun. Yeah, if they take A, it's going to be really hard because they'll be able to spawn in here. So, like, the flags, they really just provide a tactical advantage. I don't know why you can't see what tonics do when you expect them. I'll write that down. Luck, like I did no idea, Luck, when you were building this was going to be such a massive base, but it is, and it's awesome. And I love you for it. Personally, it takes a second to load in, which I think could be bad for new players, but like the optimization's not that bad. And you did a really, really good job. It looks really good, and I don't see a lot of errors. So great work. It should be probably a little easier to get in this, but I don't care that much too that like some of these bases are easier to defend. Well, they should all be pretty equal, but like it doesn't need to be easy. Again, because there's also empty server raids, and so with the guards and stuff, you want to make sure that it's not just like too easy to raid. Oh, dude, I just baited that guy so hard. Anybody else have any other question on raids? We're going to move on to the next bullet point right after we finish beating these guys. I think we've got them held. They're going to have to make some sort of strong push here. And our boys have rallied. Although oh no, the stockpile boss is being fought. Get to the stockpile boss, guys. You can see him moving. He's fighting. I just get melted. Just get melted. Stockpile boss is fighting, guys. We gotta protect him. And guys, if you want to hang out somewhere, go to your capital. Tell your other faction members, let's go hang out at our capital. Maybe we'll get raided. Let's collect some wheat. Let's do some matchmaking while we wait. Like, there's so many things to do now in your base. 3 minutes left. Yeah, I think they're just out of time now. They waited too long. Although I was impressed that they got through to this point. But that bread is going to be ours. 2 minutes left. We just have to hold. This is so funny. That's so silly. Oh, I've never seen this stuff, but this is awesome. I see why they wanted this to be their capital. Does that mean we can give Assassins Nicosia back? It's kind of awesome that Cyprus and Assassins are allies, so we can still use Nicosia. I guess they could have come through this way. Yeah, they have access to the walls over here. They should have just flanked this way. Yeah, all the bases are going to be balanced. Like, send in your tickets, send in your balancing concerns if you think something is, like, pretty blatantly unfair. Like, I think it's a little too hard to get over the first wall here. We probably need some other way. But, you know, God, like, that's obvious. Like, it's going to take some time to balance out. Look at this, I'm getting gold. Gee. I think the stockpile boss is in a hard position. He probably should be a little bit more out in the open, but... GG, guys. And the other thing is, this is like this is friendly. Like, this doesn't mean we have to go to war with the Teutonics now. So now factions can fight each other a lot with a lot less consequence. And you could see the Teutonics and the Templars get teleported out. So let's keep going through these patch notes, guys. I'm so glad we got to do that. I got my contribution. I'm probably pretty close to ranking up. I just probably need more experience or something. But that's pretty awesome that we just get to experience that. That was awesome. So now, and if we want to do a rally, just press yes, and you'll get right to the rally in the Conquest server as well. So everything is really just feeling really good. Now let's go to the boons. These are very controversial. And I just want to say these will be balanced. These will be balanced heavily from the point they're at now. Make sure I gotta check my phone. Oh, what's going on here? And then it'll tell you to join the community. Now we're in the community, so we're just going to get so many more people in the community. Oh, gosh. See, now I want to keep playing. I was going to go for the patch notes, so now we're going to raid. Now we're going to try to raid. Abyssids get 50% extra XP. I think this is for mid-ranks only. He might have changed it. Scholars of the Order, they have assassination abilities. This has been heavily changed from what we originally proposed. But it's still really awesome. Ayyubids get 10% movement speed increase in the desert. Byzantines get 33% reduced blocked stamina damage. Which is going to help them with shields and stuff. Cypriots get more damage in coastal zones. And now it's back to the Hettine ambience. England gets 30% reload speed and 10% more arrow damage. Hospitallers do 175% more tonic healing. Holy Roman Empire takes 5% less damage from everything. They said that was not a good boon. I feel like that's a really good boon. KOJ gets 25% reduced damage when their health's below 50. I could see why they'd think like this is worse than that, which might be fair. But again, these are going to be balanced and changed. France gets way more bread. Sicilians are worth 2 when capturing flags. Honor has no effect on the faction's stability for Zangids. Antioch has the Holy Lance, which allows them to have an area effect. I think it's healing. And bonuses. Lion's Teeth, 10% more damage when in desert. The True Cross, which grants healing. And Steel Banded Resolves, which cuts battle cooldowns in half. Man, I want to make sure we get time to go through the matchmaking changes because those are some of my favorite and the ones I worked really, really hard on. So what are let me hear your concerns and gripes with the boons specifically. I know some people have some issues with them. And so I'm happy to evaluate those and talk about them. Are there no flags out here? I guess they don't care about this flag. I feel like the Hospitaller boon's really good. I feel like everybody thinks their boon sucks and everybody else's is really good, and everybody feels that way. It kind of means it works. I mean, you can't balance it 100% perfectly because they affect different systems, right? Like, I can see situations where the Teutonic boon is completely overpowered. But from the Teutonic's perspective, like, how does this help them in a raid? It doesn't. You know, same with like the assassin boon. Like people think this is very powerful, and it is, and to some extent, but it doesn't help the assassins in a battle. If they go up against a Byzantine shield wall, it's going to be really hard to break. So you just have to keep in mind that everything is still in progress with balancing. And I think that when we add the division boons, which we're going to do very soon, all the divisions are going to have their own boons, and these are all going to be heavily changed. Like a lot of the main faction boons might be more related to like diplomacy, stuff like the French boon, something like the Teutonic boon, where the division boons are going to be like the assassin one, where it's something more specific to a specific division that gives a division an identity. I mean, none of the divisions really have identities outside of outfits. This gives people actually a true... Wake up, wake up. A true cause and like thing to do. Oh, wow, we got him. I'm 0 and 13, by the way, from that last raid. I didn't get a single kill. So funny. Not even an NPC kill. Can I kneel with the sword? Matchmaking changes, these are fucking massive. I almost want to save them for last. Holy cow, this guy's a freaking... He's a machine. Is this ladder floating? Okay, it's not. We have to hold them here. If we were Sicilians, these flags would be going down twice as fast. Sweet. All right. Now we're inside. I'm not going to tell people to join Sicily because they said they're not going to play the game because they're upset about these changes. So instead of coming and talking to me, they decide to tell all their low ranks not to play the game and not to have fun. So I'm not going to advertise that faction. Let's see if I can... How do we get in? Oh, there's a side door. Waffle changed his mind. I'm happy to hear it. Happy to hear it. Oh, shit. All right, yeah, let's get in. Why is this guy in defense? Huh. boycott game. I mean, if you really believe that we just weren't ever going to make any changes, then, I mean, I guess I can understand being upset, but we've been updating this game for 15 years, so I feel like that's a pretty funny idea to have. Summon personal guard, that's so funny.
Defend me!
I don't know how I escaped that. I got a kill! Yes! I don't know why this didn't update. Got a kill. All right, let's keep going through these. So I think I'm going to save matchmaking for last. Faction stability overhaul. Legacy status will now be lost upon being annexed. So this does not have to do with being vassalized, only annexed. So if you're a tributary or something like that, it does not count. Only if you're annexed. You can now lose it legacy status easier. Weekly rates have now changed. This is a massive change, guys. And this also means that people who are boycotting are going to be hurting their factions, because you can no longer just sit there and have nothing and just keep 90% stability plus. Stability is going to be based on how you're performing relative to other factions. So if you're the top treasury, meaning you have the most gold in the game in your treasury, you'll get plus 5% stability. If you're in the bottom, you'll get minus 5%, and everything in between. If you're the top active troops, plus 8% stability. If you're the bottom, minus 5. If you're the top power ranking, plus 10. If you're the bottom, minus 10. So power ranking super important. Honor change, plus 5. Bottom, minus 5. So basically, and we're going to make sure Zangids are... Basically, the most stability you can gain in a week is like 23, but you can also lose up to 25. So just keep that in mind. You could lose up to 25% stability in a week if you really do nothing. So that's only 2 weeks away from being 100 to being 50. And that's if you're in the bottom of every single thing. Puppeting is now costs more honor. Annexing costs more honor. We want to discourage annexing. And you also can't annex if a faction has 50%, unless they have 50% or less of the active troops of you. So if you're rallying 30, they're rallying 15 or 16, you can't annex them. This just prevents active factions from being annexed. You also can't revolt until you have half the active troops, because I feel like you should be active if you want to revolt. So revolts can't just be spammed. But at the same time, revolts cooldowns are reduced. And now it takes 9 days instead of 3 to be conquered. So because of those road battle changes, you'll have a chance to fight in multiple road battles if you lose your capital. So if you lose your capital on a Sunday, you're going to get at least another 3 RBs to try to get it back. Tributary status no longer takes your territory, remains independent. So yes, you'll still show up on the faction menu. Conquered status now removes your independent territory. factions are now automatically made tributaries instead of annexed if they're conquered and they don't choose. And you can't declare a revolt unless you have 65% stability. Clans have been deleted. This still needs to be implemented. So if you're stuck in a clan, I'm taking care of this. I'm just waiting on a few extra things. This will be figured out in the next couple days. So don't worry. You'll get your gold and you'll get your refunds. Just take that easy. This is a change some people were upset about, but I think it's really good. And I can see why KOJ would be upset, but I'm going to explain why they shouldn't be. Power ranking calculations are now completely different. So if we go to power rankings, let's hope this loads. I don't know why it wasn't loading here. Faction infinite loading is still happening. Okay. We'll fix that. But basically now there's a couple things that have been changed. So MMR is now really important for your power ranking. So if you go here, basically this shows your total factions MMR right now. It's only going to show tournament MMR in pretty soon here. And then there's champions MMR. So basically, if you fight in champions, you get champion MMR. If you fight in tournament, you get tournament MMR. This is bugged, so it just shows both combined. But it's going to take the sum, and that's going to be converted into power ranking points, very importantly. Top power ranking faction will receive the Castel and Baravan stronghold. So the top faction has a chance to compete for Jerusalem every week. Which is the meta goal of the game, is to capture Jerusalem. Factions like Assassins, factions like Byzantines had a really hard time capturing Jerusalem because it's so far away. And Jerusalem stockpile now produces really, really good rewards. So the top power ranking faction has the reward of being able to get those, as well as the tax revenue. There's also an embassy bug that was fixed. There was a ton of skill tree changes. I'm not going to go through all these. You guys can, but there's a ton of fixes, including the heavy tree being finished or fixed. And then we also have the tonic overhaul. We basically redone every single tonic in the game, which I'm really like. This is awesome. We wanted to do this for a really long time. So tonics are just a lot more dynamic and usable. And one of the cool things also, I think we're losing. Unless we're blue. No. So we lost. So I'll be teleported just right back to the Pathos Conquest server. Are you guys not seeing EXP gain? EXP gain thing's not showing. New Cypriot skins, which look awesome. 2-time XP for the event. And now it has a maximum modifier of 5x because there's some things that give you a ton of XP. And there was just a bunch of quality of life changes and fixes. Just a lot of really good, like, general fixes. And then we also made some more changes. We had the hotfix in. Some different buffs, some different changes, which you guys should review. Already made a lot of fixes into things that weren't working or were complained about. And last, I'm going to go over the matchmaking changes, which are my personal favorite. Contribution you get for every match now, outside of sparring. Ranked is now champions, unranked is now tournament. Champions will give 3 times XP, tournament 2 times. You have to be in a party to join tournament. But the biggest thing here, guys, is the rewards. Okay? So just so you guys know, right now this is bugged. This is going to be fixed. But nobody's really been queuing tournaments And so what that means is that these rewards are up in the air, which is 3 times reward track points, 3 times experience, and skill tree resets for the whole month that they're winning. So if they win, that means for the whole month of January, the winning faction will get 3 times reward track points. That's only for the people who participated in tournament, or 3 times experience. The champions rewards go to a single player who won, and they get the victor title, a bunch of contribution, a bunch of Damascus stones, and other stuff. But right now, I think this is a little bit underrated and undervalued. And by the way, I can queue tournament. I can queue champions, and because of the level scaling, oh, I guess I have to be combat level 7. But I can queue champions, and it'll basically let me fight with level scaling, which means it'll be a lot easier for people who don't have a cast weapon to compete, which I'm super stoked about. You get silver for queuing in a match. This is what I really wanted to show you guys. So if you just sit in queue, you get a ton of rewards. And being in tournament queue gives you way more than champions. So if you just get into a party and you just queue with your faction members, you can just farm contribution and silver for days if nobody else queues. But if somebody else queues, you get to go fight and then earn awesome rewards. So it really is just a win-win. And I'm going to show you guys that right now. We see all the different season winners after it's done. And we fixed a ton of bugs with matchmaking, like the weapon disappearing, like 2 kills counting for 1. And like if you don't participate, you don't get rewards. If you leave a match early, you lose MMR. Just a ton of fixes. Yeah, and by the way, I'm just about to implement making it so all the items do cast iron damage. So that'll be done very soon. So if I just queue for champions, it's going to search, but watch. The longer I'm in queue, the more rewards I'm going to get. And actually, I'm going to go to Alamut so I can show you guys exactly how this works. If any other assassins want to come to Alamut, and then I hope other factions get into a party in queue for a tournament. Cores have been removed because it made people way too passive. And it made people think, oh, if I sit on my cores, my power ranking will just be the same and my stability will just be the same. And that's just not good gameplay. Like, that's not good game design for a faction war game. So the cores are what the players decide. Raining. Holy cow. So I'm going to start a... Egu chain. Okay, so now I'm just in a party. I can just sit in 3v3 skirmish queue. There's somebody already in queue, so we'll be sent there. But every minute I'd be in queue waiting, I'm gonna get I think it's 5 contribution and 150 silver just for waiting. Whoa. Dude, Fortune's here? That's awesome. I don't know why. I think that was a bug. I think it was left over from the previous Champions queue. I'm at negative 33 MMR. It has not been going. Oh no. This is a grudge. I drew first blood. All that matters. And so because skill trees are disabled, the TTK is so low. No! Dude, auto parry. This is crazy. Oh. Dude, he's literally sweating so hard. No! I didn't know Fortune sweated that hard. Gosh, a lot. Might be able to get him here. Shit. This is so grindy, dude. Stop. Oh, man. Peak factor's so real. Oh, okay. Jeez. Oh. No. How do you fucking get that one? Popatonic disabled. Right. This will be the last match. I know, I forgot my bow, so this is like not a very good matchup. Dude.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so we're going to get the rewards. See the leaderboard. Anyway, guys. Thank you very much for watching. That's going to be the end. Please check out the patch notes. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this update. Continue to enjoy it. Omar, you've won the Ilmenite. Congratulations. That is well earned. That's going to be it. I have Christmas due. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be releasing some tutorial videos, and I really appreciate all you guys for being here. And if you like the update, if you like the explanation, share it to somebody who's critical. Tell them to watch the stream. Tell them about some of the reasonings and the logistics I laid out. And get raiding, guys. Have fun. Merry Christmas to you all. God bless.